We're moving on to Rock Eagle and Etowah Mounds located in Putnam County, Georgia. Rock Eagle is an effigy mound. So what exactly does that mean? Well, it's a large earthenwork made up of many pieces of quartzite and is in the shape of a large bird. Some think it's an eagle, while others think a vulture or perhaps a thunderbird, because it isn't clear what the original builders intended. So it's only speculation that we're left with. Both locations are noted as Mississippian culture areas. So obviously there is some ceremonial or ritual significance to this site. And most interesting to note here is only 2 effigy mounds have been found east of the Mississippi River, and ironically both are located here in Putnam County, Georgia. The other effigy mound is called Rock Hawk. Much thanks to the hard work of individuals that have been bringing forth this information and attempting to make us aware of the truth in these findings. All of what I intend to do is to support and bring clarity to the information coming out on all of these temple mounds. Back to the topic at hand. Supposedly, the first measurements of Rock Eagle was performed by archaeologist Charles T. Hyatt in 1877. Not surprising and totally indicative of a Freemason association, the measurements are 120 feet head to tail and 102 feet wingtip to wingtip. All the same numbers, and obviously equaling or seeing the 33 number here. And why the push from presidential administrations to excavate these areas? Not only were they ordered excavated by presidential administrations, but were simultaneously handed over to the prestigious Ivy League colleges and universities to cover the actual archaeology digs by using inexperienced college students who wouldn't question what they were actually seeing, as the heads of departments were carefully orchestrating the findings and only disclosing to the public what they carefully decided in secret meetings for our consumption or understanding. In my opinion, this was the easiest way they could conceal their theft of these ancient artifacts and relics. Another interesting side note, one which I will have to focus on in more detail in another video, because it's worthy of its own video for sure, is a marker that was erected in 1940 by this organization called the Colonial Dames, whose, and I quote, ancestors resided in the American colony before 1776, close quote. Why would this organization erect this monument? This organization's headquarters are located in Dumbarton House in Georgetown, Washington, D.C. Isn't that part of the Jesuits? There is also a society called Colonial Dames of America, with its headquarters being in Mount Vernon Hotel Museum in New York City since 1924. And they are also a group of women whose ancestors lived in British America 1607 to 1775. Well, isn't that still prior to 1776? The Colonial Dames of America was, quote, of service to the colonies by either holding public office, being in the military, or serving the colonies in some other eligible way, close quote. Why were these two similar organizations of female British sympathizers? They claim they don't want to confuse us, as they deliberately confuse us, right? The latter organization mentioned is also still in operation today. Surprised? Yeah, me neither. What part of conflict of interest does this not meet? And it also indicates treasonous behavior from British loyalists living in America. Let's move on to the Etowah Mounds. These mounds are located in Bartow County, Georgia, and are considered, quote, the most intact Mississippian culture site in the Southeast, close quote. And this is according to Georgia State Parks and Historic Places. There are 6 mounds total, 3 main and 3 lesser mounds, and there appears to have been a moat around them at one time, which they called the borrow pits. Cyrus Thomas and John Rogan tested this site by conducting a survey here in 1883 for none other than the Smithsonian Institute, or as I'd like to say, the handlers or gatekeepers of our history. Among artifacts found were a set of copper plates called the Etowah plates, later changed to the Rogan plates, which are the famous Eagle Dancer plates, though I've never heard of them. Have you? The first documented archaeological dig performed here in 1925 was conducted by Warren K. Moorhead. And whom might that be? Quote, the Dean of American Archaeology, close quote, who was born in Siena, Italy, but grew up in Xenia, Ohio. Why is he strangely credited for excavating more earthenworks than any other archaeologist? Well, that's a story for another day. I'll close with this. It's becoming apparent that these mounds represent something far bigger and supernatural than we've been led to believe. And I believe we're beginning to understand better who the Nephilim are.